My name is Tristan Sibuti, and I'm in Rangers, Strathmore, and we're going to a museum today.
My name is Keith Migiru. I am from Strathmore School, and today I am talking about our Rangers visit to the National Museum of Kenya. It was a few weeks ago when the school had told us we were supposed to go on a trip to the National Museum of Kenya. We were happy. We really wanted to visit this place, and most of us actually enrolled to go for it.
My name is Jeremy Mwangi. I'm from Strathmore School. We have this thing called Rangers, and during Rangers we went to a trip to the National Museum. There I enjoyed the experience very much, and museums are great for when you want to explore something you're interested in, and also to know about cultures and many stuff, because if there's no museum, and some people might not believe what other people say, so a museum it helps you find out about many stuff.
My name is Kome Mudhaura, and 2 Saturdays ago we went to the Kenya National Museum, and there we saw many artifacts, snakes. The snakes, for example, were king cobra, puff adder, black mamba, green mamba, and we saw fishes. They were very colorful, and then we saw our history and currency for the past years for Kenya.
My name is Jose Rodney Zangi from Strathmore School. I'm a grade 5 learner. This year, a couple of weeks ago, we went to the Nairobi National Museum, and we saw many things there. We saw how Kenyan culture was, the food they eat, how they worked when they were before we became independent. Also the weapons they used when they were fighting.
When we reached, we were taken to a place that shows the start, the years 1960s, right before we got independence, what exactly happened. We saw some of the weapons they used to fight with, like spears and really long guns, but it was hard to use it, hard to control, and it was also heavy. We also saw currencies, like the cents that used to be coins, 10 shilling notes, which I was really amazed about.
We went to the National Museum of Kenya to see various things that our ancestors did for us. So as we were in the bus, we were also engaged to finally see what our ancestors did. As we got out of the bus, we saw a sculpture of a dinosaur. Then as we entered, we obviously took a photo at the start of the museum. Then a tour guide came to show us around and told us rules that had never been broken.
We were led by our teacher, Mr. Ochieno. He's our Rangers teacher, and our guide from the start of Rangers to the end. And the only reason he is because he's been a ranger also some time. We went to enter, but first we were given instructions by Mr. Kevin, also the advisor. He said no making noise and no touching things.
My name is Hilary Ochieno. I'm the patron of Rangers Club. The club has been on for some time, and on 14th February we went to the National Museum with the boys. It was very important because the boys need to know their culture. They went to the museum and were shown some of the artifacts that our great-grandparents used and why they were used. They asked very many questions. They were shown different species of birds and animals. They also learned about the evolution because there were some models of the evolution processes of a person.
Then we went inside. When we entered inside, we looked at some of the pictures that are from many years ago. But of course, as always, we would be at the first stage, not the last. If we started from the last, we wouldn't have known what would be the first. So we entered, we looked at all the pictures. We went also to a bird's room. It showed us so many birds that actually are very rare, some of them.
We moved on to see early man. We saw different skulls. We saw the difference between the hand of a monkey and a human. Like it was a demonstration of a monkey's hand. It felt weird, different, like the fingers were thick compared to ours.
In the museum, there were different things like sculptures of elephants and the big five. So as we looked around, we saw different fossils of different animals like lions and etc. As we continued, we saw a stage where there were a lot of birds, like sculptures of birds. We couldn't even count them. And there were some that went from being small to being big.
The parts that I really loved about the museum were I was able to see many types of things, many birds, what happened in the past about Jomo Kenyatta. And also one of my favorite parts was the snake park. I was able to overcome my fears of snakes. And we also went to the aquarium, which I love fish very much. And I was also the cameraman, kind of, yeah. Yeah.
So we looked at the birds. We went upstairs. Now that room was about when we were slaves. We saw pictures of when people were in jail, some of them. So we saw also guns there. We also saw some different animals like monkeys, elephants, some prehistoric creatures, and even some lions.
Museums are important to exist about knowing what happened in the past, especially because especially our parents, they tell us about for a specific culture like Kikuyu, what happened, what they used to do, and maybe some people might not believe them. So when you go to a museum, you find out more. Even some things like animals, our parents or teachers tell them about them, and we may not know or we may not be sure. So a museum helps us know the knowledge about that.
As a young person, it is important for us to go places like there, because if we never knew what is in a museum or what a museum is, we wouldn't know our people very well. Even though we are living the life, we don't really know the past. It is important to preserve our culture. It is because that if we never knew our culture, we still know our culture. Our parents were the culture, but who would know how to live the culture? Because if we had a culture like Kikuyu, we would have to go to a museum to check what Kikuyus used to do.
So museums are important because like they complement on what we learn in school. Like also it's fun, like you get to see what you have been just thinking about. Like when the teacher tells you about the way the guns were big and heavy, like not like nowadays when you can carry one, like it's light and it's made easy to put in your pocket. But then it was heavy, and then you get to see and know what it is. And it's also important for children who are interested in politics, that they may also learn more about the country, and it will help them in their political career.
Well, the reason why I think it's important to learn about our culture is, like, it helps us prepare for our future generations, so that, like, let's say if someone doesn't learn about their culture, when they get children, if they do, like, their children will also not know, like, about their culture, the food their culture eats, the things they do, sports played, and etc.
Trips like this are important to us so that as children we can learn our culture, learn what our ancestors did for us, and why we're here today.
The whole outing was very interesting. The boys enjoyed themselves, and they're looking forward to such more experiences in future.
This trip was important to us because as students we don't know many things, and that maybe if you have younger siblings, you can tell them how it was, so that they can also learn.
This visit has taught me how rich our culture is, our past culture. It's also taught me, like, the way before there was technology, we really had to rely on our own, like, what we can do to create all of these new things. Like, now there's machines, you can make different things, but before you had to get mud and sculpt something, and like, it was really cool that they still managed to make. Yet some of us these days don't know anything about that. We just know that you need a machine to create this thing.
So it's important to have museums and also to know about our culture. It helps us tell when we grow up, when we have children, we tell them about what happened in the past, and our children can also pass them to their kids when they grow up.